Good Tuesday morning. Welcome to Ocala Talks on a sunny Tuesday morning. Galen Unoff from Life South joins us. He does every day, although it's abbreviated today. He's only got a 10-minute segment, actually. But, Galen, I'm working on that. So good morning, and we're going to work to leave. You're too important to only have for 10 minutes. I mean, just ask you. Just ask you.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
well, thank you, Tom.
So we only got one thing to talk about. I touched on it yesterday briefly. You and I have talked about it ad nauseum at times. The Wall Street Journal is the first publication that I've seen, put out a scathing article about what the hell are we doing with these electric vehicles. California, Texas, New York, Florida are all. There's a grid company that runs the grid in the Midwest. They're all saying that this summer, with the record heat that's expected, that they're going to have to do rolling blackouts and rolling brownouts. And the Wall Street Journal's headline was, if we can't run air conditions, how are we going to run electric cars? And it's the first publication I've seen to actually ask that question. And I think we're way too far into this electric car thing for this question to be being asked now. This question should have been asked 20 years ago.
Well, first of all, 80% of all cars on the road that are electric are Teslas. And so now that Elon Musk is no longer in that protected class, right? He's no longer part of that elite bubble, where the journalists just put him up on this mantle. You're starting to see stories like this come out. Now what's going to come out next is, how is a battery made? Should we really go to all electric, or should we keep that hybrid model? That will be the next big thing, because people are only environmentalists until it
impacts them, right? Exactly.
Not them directly, just their politics. Because let's be honest, the people who are writing that article, they're probably not going to be impacted. The grid has been an issue for a long time, and I hate the word infrastructure. But if you were to go in and say, look, we need to completely rebuild our infrastructure, and you earmarked all of that infrastructure money to the grid, I'm all in. If you could tell me where that money's going, I'm all in. The problem is there's just so much pork in it.
Right.
That's how politicians get rich.
I saw a great meme, and I shared it this morning. It was a picture of Pete Buttigieg, and it said, if you don't like the high gas prices, just buy an electric car. No, if you can't afford it said if you can't afford gas, just buy an electric car. And underneath it, it goes, yeah, Pete, that's like telling a homeless person to go buy a house.
Right, yeah, exactly. Or I don't understand why you can't pay rent.
Yeah.
Go get an apartment.
Yeah, if you can't afford rent, go buy a house. Huh?
Yeah, again, these are the people that, the same people that they want to solve every problem by looking to the federal government. And again, I loved it yesterday when Peppermint Patty said, all this inflation is not the result of this president's policy. And I'm like, what bubble do you live in, lady? Every decision he's made has increased our inflation. And then, this whole baby formula scare. I mean, that should frighten people. Our first child, the only reason he survived is because of baby formula.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and you're hearing these terror stories of people who are having to travel, 3 and 4 hours for a can of formula. It's sad, and the reason that is because the FDA changed the law, and now we don't get everything we need, because we used to get your baby formula from Europe as well.
They changed the law. They changed the law. The FDA under Biden changed how it's accepted. You don't get European formula near as much. And then they went in and closed 2 formula factories in the U.S.
Right. And trust me, where I work, we battle with the FDA continually. and it is and right now there's not even
And look,
anybody in charge.
these large government departments, the FDA, the EPA, stuff like that. As soon as they get
Department of Education.
right, as soon as they get an administration in that they feel like will let them run amok, they do just that.
That's right. Well, they think they have these little fiefdoms.
Right, that's
and
what it
it's
is.
their job.
They think they're like some lord, and they got a fiefdom, and they're hoarding over it.
And the crazy thing is they call themselves bastions of democracy. We're standing up for democracy. No, you're everything that's wrong with our government.
And by the way, most of the heads of the FDA, if you go back and look at the last 6 or 7 big wigs at the FDA, or the second in command or third in command at the FDA, go look at what their jobs are now. They're working for Squibb, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna.
Sure, absolutely.
they get all this money from the pharmaceutical companies to turn a blind eye to all these pharmaceuticals, and then their reward is leave the FDA. We'll hire you as a consultant
Correct.
and pay you millions and millions of dollars.
Well, and the alternative is, and this is gaining some traction, is you shut down the FDA and you allow these pharmacies and people like us to regulate ourselves. I don't know if that's the answer. I honestly don't. I don't know enough about it. But I don't know, how would it be different? Would things get
How about if the
faster?
Food and Drug Administration had ethics? How about that?
Well, sure.
How about if that helped? That would help.
Absolutely.
That would help. How about a
Yeah.
little ethics?
And they're like, oh, people are waiting for a vaccine for the Omicron. I'm like, it's a virus.
Why?
You're not going to stop it.
No. Why
What
does
are we
my
doing
Xarelto, a blood thinner, run in excess of $500 a prescription?
Well, that's not has nothing to do with the FDA.
No, but it's because they turn it's
demand.
because it's because they turn a blind eye and let the pharmaceutical companies run amok.
Well, that's capitalism. No, you can't. Now you're arguing both sides.
No,
you
I'm
want to
not.
just turn it all over.
I don't want
I don't
my Xarelto to be $500+. I tell you that.
I get it. I get it. I understand what you're saying. But it's a supply and demand. That is capitalism.
Well, there's plenty of Xarelto that they don't have to charge over $500 for it.
You don't know what it costs to make that drug.
No, but let's look into what it costs to make that drug and how much of it was greasing the palms of this politician or that politician. How much pork can be taken out of what it costs to make that drug?
Oh, I know what it takes to get a drug or any product licensed and approved by the FDA.
Yeah.
I know exactly what that costs.
And that's a problem. How much that cost?
Well, yeah, and again, it just depends on whether you think we should have that kind of oversight, or should we go back to where it's, buyer beware.
Well, Galen,
that's the alternative.
What we have right now is oversight of you telling me where the Bloodmobile is.
Hey, well, today we're out in the villages at the Walmart right there on Woodbridge Road. But please come by and see us on the Boulevard. We're in emergency need of platelets. If you've never donated platelets, now's a great time. Check us out at lifesouth.org, 622-3544.
Galen, talk to you tomorrow.
Well,
we'll be right back after this timeout.
Loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician